the three levels of wealth creation. Okay, so the next level to talk of is growing level. So growing level or the secondary stage. So it is at this stage that we consider the heart of wealth creation. So this is where you continue, you build upon, you grow your wealth, you grow your money. Yes. So we believe that once you've passed through the starting level, then it means you've attained some form of stability. So you have to now focus on growing your wealth, and you do that by increasing your streams of income, and then you continue to diversify your investment because you move from saving to investment. Okay, go. So let's look at it. Let's go straight. So who is at this level? I think that will make us quick. Then look at what you can do. Who is at this level? Someone who is not dependent on debt. You might have one or two debts from your credit card or something like that, but at this level, you are managing your debt, and your debt is not in control of your life. You might have a car finance, you might have a mortgage, but you're okay. Each month, you are able to clear them off, and you continue because you have streams of income. So they are not weighing you down. You are actually in control of the debt that is in your hand, and you are using them to build your credit score. You are using them because you want. You can decide to break away if you want. So that is very important. Some who the second feature here is that you have an emergency fund for 3 to 6 months minimum. At least you have that, so that in case of nobody's predicting or saying that misfortune is going to happen, but in case of any misfortune, you can survive and cover everything for the next 3 to 6 months. That means that you are the growing level. And then the third thing to talk about is that you are either already investing at least 5% to 25% of your monthly earnings, or you can do that. That means that maybe you haven't been you don't have the right information, so you don't invest, but you have that capacity, and you keep the money in your bank. At this level, we will tell you the action to take at this level, but you have the capacity to invest 5 to 25% of your money. That means that every month, when you do all due diligence, you clear all your expenditure, you are able to have that money. Then that is very important. Okay, that's very key. And then who looking at the mark, so you know where it begins from the starting. So what distinguishes you from the third level is that when you put all your net worth together, okay, you do not have more than or 80% or more of what you consider as your financial goals. So we said earlier that you should set specific financial goals such that you know how much you are looking for to say that you've attained financial freedom. So if you haven't reached 80% or more, then you are still at the growing stage. The growing stage is the heart, so it can be buoyant, starting from initial, getting to the middle stage, and getting to the peak. So even if you are at 75, 76, 77% of what you are looking for, you are so close to getting to the final stage. But here we still consider that you are the growing stage, and you should consider completing all the actions required at this level before you get to the final stage. And another thing you should note at this level is that at the growing stage, since it's the heart of it, you do more. Once we've looked at who is at this level, there are many things you are supposed to do at this level. So, what should you do at this level? What should you do at this level? So, the first thing you should do is to keep learning all the three wealth creation skills. So, at this level, you need all the three. You don't need two. You need to continue learning about money making, learning more about money management, and money multiplication, because at this level you must invest. If you don't invest, you get stuck here. If you invest, if you have really migrated or progressed from the starting level to this level, if you learn about investment and you invest, you learn about how to multiply your money, you will surely get to financial freedom. Okay, so that's very important. So at this level, you need to learn all the three. Okay, then the second thing you need to do at this level is that you need to manage your risk. tolerance. If you want to attain financial freedom, you want to create wealth at this level, you cannot be thinking that you, as for me, I am not risk tolerant at all. So instead of me going to invest in this, and you don't want to hear about any investment at all. The only thing you are thinking about is that you make your money and you are looking for, which is not bad, you are looking for high saving interest bank or something like that, and you keep your money there. It's not the best advice at all, because I don't think, as far as my little readings or research can support my assertion now. I don't think there is any living, you know, rich person who is not investing their money. I don't think so, and their monies are sitting in bank. Maybe just yesterday you became rich by receiving maybe inheritance. If you leave that money for 1 month to 1 year and you don't invest, you are going to lose everything directly or indirectly. So we don't do that. So at this level, you should manage your risk tolerance, and you should be ready to invest if you are not investing already. So it's very, very important. And you need to build more passive streams of income. So at this level, you need to build more passive streams of income. This is why you need to manage your risk tolerance. And it is recommendable that at the growing level, you should have between 3 to 5 streams of income minimum. You should not have two sources of income. You should not have two streams of income. No. At this level, you should have a minimum of three. It shouldn't be just one day. You can probably reach this level with maybe one source of income or two sources of income, depending on your situation. But you should not stay there. If you want to attain financial freedom, go to the final stage or the final level, then you need to build at least, increase your streams of income so that you can have at least 3 to 5 streams of income. You can have more, but have at least 3 to 5 streams of income. What are some of the examples of sources of the income? Or how can you have 3 to 5 sources of income? Maybe it's easier said than done. No, it's not easier said than done. Look at this example. The first one is that keep your job. At this level too, if you are working, keep your job. So you recommend that you keep your job. You don't just say that I've reached this level, so I'm going to throw away your job. No, keep your job. If you are working, keep the work that you are keeping. If you have your own, if you are self-employed, do that. Continue to do what you are doing. It's very important. But what then do you do? There's something you should do differently here. You should think about growth, upgrading or expanding. So if you are a classroom teacher, can you upgrade yourself? If you are teaching at the secondary level, can you think of going to the tertiary? If you are a nurse, can you think of becoming a senior nurse? If you are a carer, can you think of becoming senior carer? What can you do? Can you think of upgrading? Whatever field you find yourself, if you are maybe a lecturer, can you think of becoming a professor? Can you upgrade yourself, doing some researches? Any field you find yourself, think of upgrading. So you need to learn and upgrade. All the certificates you need to get at this level, get those certificates, don't rush, get them with appropriate time and upgrade. If it is work you are doing, you are self-employed at this level, don't stop that, but make sure you expand it. How many customers am I serving in a month? Think of how you can increase that. Think about that. It's very important. You should do that. The second thing to do is to have a part-time job. So if you have a part-time job, keep it. If you have something else you are doing, a side hustle, keep it. Then if you haven't monetized your skills at this level, you should monetize your skills. It's very important that you should have done that by now. But if you haven't done that, try and do that. If it is something you cannot do, fine. There are still other options there. At this level, you should think or consider, if you are not doing already, you should consider investing in stocks. Think about that. If you are, your risk tolerance level is very low, think about ETFs. ETFs, something like an example. These are examples. These are not suggestions for you to buy or hold. I am not a financial advisor. So as you do your due diligence, you also consult financial advisors, and then you get specific support. All these I'm giving you, they are financial education that I'm giving to you as one of the random YouTube guys. If you need specific financial support, you should consult or get a financial advisor. Okay, so here you can try and invest in stocks. So you can first of all consider ETFs like the FTSE 100. You don't necessarily need to be in the UK to do that. You can do that when you are the other part of the world. So the FTSE 100 or the S&P 500. You do that. You explain that later when we are talking about money multiplication. So think of investing in stocks. If you cannot invest in individual stocks because of your risk tolerance level, you should at least be investing in ETFs. Okay. Then you go to the next one. You should consider investing in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So cryptocurrency, some of the popular ones, these are again not suggestions for you to buy or hold or go into them or sell. The SRP, the Ondos, the SEALs, there are a lot, the Kaduna and all of that. All these are there. Read about them, learn about them. That is why you need to learn about all the three skills. So you need to learn about money multiplication skills. Look at what the rich are doing and be willing to do that. You cannot say that you want to ignore all of this and you still want to grow your wealth and go to financial freedom. Then you need to live for maybe 150 years or 200 years, because if you don't live too long, you will never attain that, or you attain that 2 hours to your death. I'm not prophesying doom for you, but I'm trying to say that you will delay on the path if you will ever reach financial freedom. So consider that. It's also very important. Consider investing in gold, silver, and bonds, treasury bills, and all of that. So there are different forms of investment, let's say platform or fields that you can go to. Some of them will give you, some of them the risk level is very low, but will give you little profit and all of that. You learn them as you progress, but you should invest your money. Your money should not sit in the bank. If I'm not speaking ill against banks, because all these investments, some of them will go around in banks. You can invest in banks. You can invest in banks, the Bank of America, the Bank of England, and Barclays, HSBC, and all of that. I am not recommending the Lloyds Bank. I'm not recommending any of them, but you can do your due diligence and invest in them. So there are several ways you can help. If you think you love your bank, invest in your bank and not necessarily save your money there. Okay. Once you have saved your emergency fund in your bank, you should think of investing your money. All right. Okay. Then at this same level, you should consider I've also mentioned gold and silver. Yes, good. Then the next thing you should consider doing is starting a business. If business is for you, if you have the heart of starting a business, you have that passion, that patience, you have the readiness to learn, consider starting a business. It's also going to help you. It's not the only means. You learn about you learn extra things. You know what the rich people, what are the composites of the billionaires or the millionaires, the rich people we have in this world now. You know what they are doing. You can do any of them. In all your doings, do you. If you think doing a business is you, consider starting a business. The last two here is protect your money and assets. At this level, at the growing level, you should protect your money and assets. You should have insurance, have adequate insurance to cover your family, yourself, and your properties. You cannot joke about them, and you should keep updating them as and when needed. You should do that. And the final thing to consider at this level is to have a comprehensive will and plan for the management of your money, businesses, and assets in your absence. It's very important. So we just stated earlier that you should protect your money and assets. That is by having a comprehensive insurance. The last thing to do at this growing level is to have a plan, have a comprehensive plan. So that is a will. You should have a will. You don't need to wait when you have been visiting the hospital for too long, or you are taken to a care home and you know you're about to die. That is when you do your will. No, start doing your will. If you are at the growing level and you haven't done your will, the very day you hear me, look for a lawyer, find a lawyer, do your will. Do your will to cover everything. And whatever you have, all your assets from the monies you have a plan for it. Have a plan for it that when you are not there, this is how they should be managed and this is where they should go. So it's very, very important. You should do all of them at the growing level. All right, like our video, share your comments, subscribe, and share this video to your friends. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.